What is up, guys? Welcome to a week in the life of a millionaire trader here in Miami.
Baby, sold out dates, cash every day. I got you a mace, I light up blue rays. Bitch cheat on my pet, the condo a cage. DD this sex, I gotta get laid. My jacket off white, don't mean that it's beige.
They just kicked me off because I was too profitable. Like, you can't do a 10-to-1 and then not get moved live.
If there was a kid that was day trading on day one, what I would tell him is number one. All right, guys, so we got a ton of stuff planned. We got the yacht. We're gonna go to my boy's penthouse, and he's gonna show you all how he got a crazy big payout from Apex. And we got a bunch of cool stuff planned. So without further ado, let's hop right into it.
To Australia, unfamiliar, spent $2 million on the jet. Ain't that doing the dash, I little dog and hold a tick. I got mileage with the crystals, but I've been back doing X. Got a Rolex on my wrist, this bitch cost by the Corvette.
Yeah, I just ran over my boy Mason on the way out, and I almost canceled the yacht because they're going over to the VIP suite, and then there's the WAP game. But you know, I can't do that. I can't bail on the yacht last minute. I got everybody going. But it's kind of funny that the thought was even a thing, because I really did think about it. I was about to be like, wait, no, we can't do that. But we're about to go on the yacht. It'll be fun. We're still gonna have a good time. Probably go find a place to watch the fight later, grab some dinner, and kind of just play it by ear and just enjoy the day. That's what I was saying, yeah.
And then you continue owning Bitcoin.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, no. All right, so we made it to the yacht, to Sunseeker. It's a beautiful day, like absolutely perfect day for the yacht. I'm glad I came, actually. I was thinking about going to the Heat game. I'm glad I came to the yacht. It's way better, way less people, way more chill. So we're down here, my boy Champ, Colin, Kyle, as you guys know, is Jade Cap, and Kimmel. And yeah, we're just gonna kick it, smoke some cigars, and enjoy the sunlight.
This guy has a crazy story. Can I get you to tell some of your story today?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I wanna do it somewhere in the sun though. The light sucks right here. So let's get out into the water a little bit.
Like, so it wasn't like crazy, you know. I'd party sometimes. I mean, I would definitely go hard. But before, it was like I was drinking like every day.
Really?
Oh yeah, I used to be like a bum, bro.
Oh, you're like
every day?
Absolutely.
I saw your picture on Google. I looked your
Yeah.
Bro, that picture looks great.
Well, I'd been in jail for almost 2 months at that point.
Oh, you were in jail?
Yeah. I was in Cali jail for almost 2 months. Yeah, I went broke pretty much after being a millionaire. Lost everything. Yeah, like lost everything though, right? Throughout different like scenarios and different things. And then, I mean, I had like some when it ended, but then I had to buy, pay legal fees, ship all my shit back from California because I got extra to Tennessee. But yeah, I mean, they said it was mainly Tennessee is where I got charged.
But that's where you were living?
No, I was living in California, outside LA. They came and got me out there. I was just drinking, and I was like smoking vapes every day. I got fat as fuck. I was eating like Sonic and DoorDash. Like no shit. And I started a trucking company because I was trading. So whenever it happened was when I was starting to actually take trading serious. So then after it happened, I was like, okay, well, I have no other option. Like, there's nothing you can do. I mean, like, my face was everywhere in the newspaper. I couldn't, you're not going to go get a job.
That's the perfect
Right.
job to do by yourself.
And I had a daughter. I had, family that depended on me and shit. So it's like, and you go from, like, being up to being down, like, super fast. Like, you can't expect people to adjust. So I literally just went all in on trading. I was literally full boarding shit. Like, that was the only way I came up, too. I was like, I had, like, $1,500. All right, turned that to $6,500 on one Binance futures trade. And then from there was risking like $1,500 a trade just consistently, got it up to like 20, 30,000. So then I had like enough money to get by. So whenever I realized I had to get a job, I was like, well, damn, first of all, I can't get a job doing anything I want to do. So I instead asked like, well, what if I start a business? And they're like, well, actually I have to make money. And I had a boy, Fahad, that he had a trucking company. It was like dump trucks, and they had like just started over the road, like 18-wheelers. And I knew people that wanted to invest a bunch. I kept asking it was from the Discord that I would like joined to like learn how to trade. Actually, it was Ty from fucking Playboy.
No way.
Yeah, that was who invested. So essentially, I hit them up and was like, look, I've got this opportunity. You can buy trucks. We'll run them. We just take a percentage of the profit, and then did that, and it worked really well. But I was like stressed as fuck, bro, because the trucking industry is like the worst business you could ever run.
Yeah.
Like you deal with like literal crackheads every day. Oh, really?
Yeah,
No way, really? No way. Really?
When I'd come home from college, one of my best friend's dads, he owned a restoration company. So they'd have a bunch of trucks, so they have to like drive the stuff down, clean out these basements and sewage, and drive all the stuff back. And it's brutal.
Yes, brutal. And it's a cutthroat business. You know what I mean?
Dude, all the people working there, just Rick Sands, Eat Sonic, and they just ask.
Yeah, like me. That was me. That was basically me. Yeah.
You guys work together.
Yeah. No, that went good for a little while, but then it ended up crashing out. And when that crashed out, that was whenever I was like super depressed. I was like 250 pounds. When I crashed out, it was like mid 2022. I got fat progressively.
Wait, this is recent.
Yeah, I got I got charged in 2021. No, I got charged way before I met you guys.
No. I mean the everything crashing down. And
No,
you
it was
getting fat.
2022. I met you guys in 2023.
Wow.
Yeah. So essentially, after everything like crashed out and it was like rock bottom, that's whenever I was like, okay, dude, you literally have nothing to lose. And I was still fighting the case. I had to end up. So I basically realized the lawyer I had was just doing nothing, right? Like he was lying, saying that he was filing motions. He was filed like 2 motions that both of which were like they were like inconsequential. Like for example, they filed a motion to suppress the evidence that was at my California house. There was no evidence. They were just filing bullshit motions because they were like, it was a political thing because it was the biggest case in that county's history.
Really?
Yeah. What I was charged with originally was conspiracy to traffic marijuana 300 pounds, conspiracy to traffic cocaine up to like 500 grams. But those are like the largest.
Allegedly, how long were you in that prison?
They said it was a 2016 to 2021, but I'd been getting in trouble since I was a kid, bro. So I was like 13. Up until like 2021, I was a completely different person. Like you guys, I wouldn't have liked myself. I was wearing like, you know, diamond chains, bust down watches, just like that whole thing, you know. Superficial, like thought I made it too. What's funny is I make like fucking way more money. I used to think that was the shit. I used to think I was the cool
How much did you
dude.
make back in a year?
Honestly, you never really know because it's all consignment. So like you owe people money, people owe you money.
We always got a fat wad.
Yeah, exactly. But you feel like complacent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's at the end of the day, it goes nowhere. It goes either like where a lot of my friends, like I had friends that died, friends that did go to prison, stuff like that. So it's a 100% surety at some point that something bad will happen, and then you lose everything. I wasn't like a druggie or anything. You know, when I was younger in high school, I definitely was for sure. But I was like, I was getting fucked up. I was partying like in LA clubs like all the time.
Tables.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Down here, I used to come down here on like a one-way and just stay for like 3 months.
You know what's really crazy that I didn't know about you until we were at dinner the other day is that, well, first of all, the story of how they actually came to your house and fucking busted the whole operation.
Yeah.
Second of all, the fact that you had an open case facing 15 years as you were blowing up on YouTube, becoming
That's basically when we met him, and we didn't really know about that.
and you have the most like buttoned up professional.
I wanted to change myself.
Yeah,
I had to reinvent myself.
Exactly,
Yeah.
the most buttoned up professional thing on YouTube, and at the same time, in the background, bro, you're blowing up on YouTube, and you were like, dude, I might see 15 fucking.
I was
years.
literally wondering. I was like, if it does go down, like that's gonna be like, oh yeah, see you guys. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but it was like,
did you make a video and be like,
no, I don't. It was
You
a
get
crazy.
iPads in prison at some of them.
Yeah, right.
dude, jail stream. You would have done the first ever prison trading stream.
Dude, nah, man. But dude, it was crazy because you know when you don't know, and like it looked bleak. Like if you were logical, you would have thought that I was 100% fucked. Like 100% up until like the last stretch, right? So, but until I fired the first lawyer, I was fucked totally. He wasn't gonna do anything. And then when I got that new lawyer, they literally filed like 27 motions the first fucking day. It was like a team of 6 lawyers. They're not like all politically. They weren't politically and wrapped up in the court. And they were. I mean, you ever seen the movie Masterminds with Zach? So his lawyer was my lawyer. Yeah. Yeah. So he's like, and he also was the lawyer for like the largest marijuana case in U.S. history. It's like some dude that was bringing like weed on ships from like Taiwan or like in like the 70s. It was like some crazy like tons and tons. So he had experience with like federal courts. I wasn't in federal. If I was in federal court, I would have been fucked.
Obviously, you've changed a shit ton as a person since then.
I'm a completely different person.
Whenever the news kind of broke online and you logged on and you first started seeing all these Casper SMC expose videos and the Twitter threads started coming out, like what did you feel? Like how did that feel? Like what did you think?
You know, honestly, man, it was like a sense of relief because I always wanted to talk about it, but the way when I was coming up, it was just kind of like, how do you like? Okay, at first, for most of it, I was like wondering if I was gonna be fucked. So I didn't want to be like, hey guys, I might be going to prison, because in my head, I truly believe like if you won't accept something and you like really completely sign yourself up, like this is going to happen, I'm gonna make it through this, like you'll make it through. And I was delusional in the best way So that was part of it. And then once it like solved itself, I just wanted to put that shit behind me. But I knew, because I was growing so much, like I knew it was gonna come out at some point. You know, I knew it absolutely was. So when it did, I mean, initially it's like, oh fuck, whatever. But then I'm like, yo, like this is actually the best thing that ever. It's like the weirdest thing. Whenever I got arrested, it was like one of the biggest reliefs of my life. As crazy as that sounds. So, you know, when that shit happened, I was like, well, at least it's over. Like I know I have to face something, but like I'm going home. I don't have to worry about this shit anymore. It is what it is. Like, but then I mean, definitely the stress came back very, very strongly. Whenever they're like, yeah, you're gonna go to prison, I was like, okay, never mind, I'm not relieved.
So how did you get out of it?
So essentially, there was a lot. So it's a state case. So like, it's a lot different than a federal case. For example, like the amount, this is allegedly, right? The amount of evidence they had on me for most of the charges was like nothing, because they never caught me with anything. The only thing that they had a lot of like, you know, stuff they were gonna use was the money laundering, right? So in a county case, they don't have a team of people. So imagine if you had to like audit like, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of transactions. It's kind of like how the IRS doesn't audit most people. They don't even have a team of people to do that, right? So the only thing that would have really like, you know, that they would have used, so to speak, was mainly that, and then it was just like hearsay. So they wanted to push it for up until the last minute. They're like, you're going to trial. You're looking at this. They gave me a deal for 8 years, the last deal, and I was like, that's the same as 15 to me. It's like a death sentence, right? Whenever I got that new lawyer, they had filed so many motions that it got to the point where they were like, is it really worth it? Because at the end of the day, there was a chance I would win. You know what I mean? So if they go to take you to trial and you win, that's like, and it was all over the news. Like they had just a new DA was elected, so it was like big it was a huge political case because it was like a big deal in that city. You know what I mean? So that was a big part of it, and then also too, at the last minute, there were witnesses that they weren't thinking were going to show up, because it all depended on like if witnesses showed up and said stuff, and then they couldn't get a hold of witnesses. The last court date, it was like a month before. I remember I was going to do a pod with Riz. I was in New York, and then I get a call from my lawyer, and I'm like, at that time, a call from my lawyer was like an instant anxiety attack. Like literally, like it's like an electricity shot hit you and like went through your whole body type shit. Yeah. So then I saw it, and like I looked at my girl, who's my fiance now, and she always would like get super, I didn't like really talk about it because she was like, you know, she's scared and shit. And she just looked at it and looked at me because we were like laughing. It was like, oh, and then it was just like, oh, fuck. Then she looked at me and was just like, all right, I'm going to get up and go in the other room. And then she went in there and he called and I answered. And he was like, hey man, well, I've got some good news for you. Or I've got some good and some bad news for you. He's kind of like, okay, like what's the fucking news? He's like, we did it. You're not going to prison. And I was like, bro, what? And I was like, literally like, you're joking. And she like right in there. It gives me chills thinking about that shit. But then it was crazy. And he was like, yeah, he's like, we did it. You're not going to prison. He's like, you're going to get a felony. You're going to go on probation for sure, but you're not going to prison. It was the craziest like full circle moment because it was like I was in New York City. I had blown up on YouTube at this point. Yeah, I had like 100K, probably more at this. Actually, I'm not sure. I was 2,300 subs in January of 2023 and 230K today. Yeah, it's crazy. At first, the way I started doing YouTube was I was in a group that I paid to be a member of. And at that time, like I ended up being a coach, right? So they like made me, oh, like, give your trades. And then they didn't have enough spots. And like, it was just Discord voice chats at that time. There wasn't like a stage. So they basically could only have 50 people. So I started streaming on YouTube. I did that for like a while and it just got me like 2,300 subs. But then I started making like organized videos. And the first one I posted got me to like 15K subs. And then it was just like, as soon as I saw that and I was fighting this case, I was like, this is it. Like you've got to, yeah, 100%. I was like, this is it. Like you have to literally put everything you've ever put into anything right now. And that's also right at that moment where it's like, bro, you're not going to do this if you're a fucking fat loser. So I quit smoking weed. I started running. I remember I was like running in trash bags. Like I used to box. It was like I was cutting for boxing, just like full psycho mode. And then just went on like the craziest run ever. And in that time, like that's where I became like who I really am today. Yeah, it's crazy. Like every time I talk about my story, like I love it. But at the same time, it's weird because I try to like erase, I mean, I don't want to erase that part from my life because it made me into who I am, but it is a full circle moment, like talking about it here, like we're riding on a fucking yacht in Miami. I was just before this debating and like stress whether I was going to go to the Heat VIP at the playoffs or a yacht. I sat there for a moment and thought about that and I was like, bro, like life is insane. And I always knew that I would make it, but, and I know a lot of you guys feel the same way, like, you know, you're going to make it, but you don't really know how or how big. You just know you want more, right? And if there's anything I can say is just be delusional, like risk everything you have, honestly, because the only reason I made it here is because I was forced to do that. I had nothing to lose. So while many of you guys may not be in that exact position, a lot of people are at rock bottom or they're on their way to it if they don't realize it. And at the end of the day, you really have no real risk. Because if you don't risk everything, if you don't put it all on the line and do everything that you can to get to where you want to be, then that's the biggest risk that you take, because you risk living your life and then looking back and wishing you had done other things. Like right now, what is it? You risk everything, lose everything, and what? Go back to square one, like get a normal job? And the fear of that outweighs for some people the fear of going their whole life and not enjoying it. And the reason is because everybody always thinks in short term. Like everybody always thinks about what is going to be the most painful thing right now, right? It's like when people are trying to diet. It's more painful for them to give up good tasting foods than it is to be unhealthy years later. Even though if you ask somebody like, logically, would you be okay with being fat and unhealthy? They'd say no. If they had a choice, they'd always not do it. But short-term pain for most people always outweighs long-term pain. And the same thing goes when it comes to risk, because everybody doesn't want to risk losing everything they have right now to possibly avoid losing their whole life, essentially. It's a crazy thing, but if there's one piece of advice I can give to you guys, it's to be absolutely delusional, like on another level, and not accept anything less than your wildest dreams, because any of you guys really can do this shit. I'm no different than you. The only difference is that I had nothing to lose. I was delusionally honed in on making it work, and I put everything I had in it, and it really took a year to change my whole life. I was just telling them back there, I can't even remember the kind of person that I was back then. Like I can't even really remember like how I used to think, what was going through my head, and things can change that fast. So I really hope that you guys see this and, you know, you learn a lot about trading. You learn a lot about all the different stuff, like the technical stuff, but really like the difference between the people that are going to make it big and the people who are going to kind of struggle at things over and over again and get stuck. It's not so much like the tactics, like the piece by piece, how to trade and all this. It's really like where you're at in your mind. And I know that you guys hate hearing that. Like, people hate hearing it. Sounds like some guru stuff, but I'll tell you what, it's true, guys. It really is. It's true. Even if you get lucky and make a bunch of money, for example, let's say if you guys made 100 grand tomorrow, a lot of you guys would end up losing it because you're not at that point where you would trust yourself with that. But most people want to trade so they can make a bunch of money, but they're not even at the place where they could handle a bunch of money, right? And it's not that when people think they get the money and then they level up. It's not that. You have to be there in your mind first. You have to surround yourself with the right people. You have to raise your standards. You have to really get clear on things. And that's more important than anything else. So all the stuff I teach you for free, all the stuff that I put on YouTube, it has a potential. It's similar to, like, for example, if you have like a sniper rifle, right? Let's say the most accurate, best sniper rifle in the world. If you have two people, one of them's a Navy SEAL sniper and the other one is like a 16-year-old who's never shot a gun, one of them is going to get much more out of that rifle than the other. That's the same thing with any of the stuff you learn online, any of the courses you buy, any of the things you spend your time and money on. It's limited by who you are. Like, what can you do wielding it? So I really want to preach that you need to just focus on leveling up and getting there mentally, because you're rich in your mind a lot longer before you're rich in real life. And a lot of people mistake and think it goes the other way around. Yeah, man, just a crazy full circle moment. I love you guys, especially the ones who've been here since day one. It's been an insane ride. And I just want to thank you guys a ton and say we're just getting started. It's time to lock in. It's crazy because everybody was like so scared of crypto being over. Literally free money, but everybody was like, bear market, it's over. But it's like, if you were looking at any other chart, if you saw that, you would want to buy it, but everybody was scared. But now everything's looking good. Now watch, it's gonna tank after I release this vlog. It's gonna tank. And I want to be like, yeah, bull market's back.
Oh Lord, Jetson made another one.
I been done right through another nigga city. I got a brand new Draco with me. Clip got 33, Scotty Pepper, bitch. Nigga ain't heard of me, I got it rich. Drippin' my sweats through Givenchy. I brought my strap in the party. And my diamonds all set like Cardi. Got a bad bitch with me, she a Barbie. You don't wanna start.
Good.
I didn't mean to interrupt, bro.
Oh, you're good. We're fucking.
So you don't drink at all?
Nah, I'll probably drink it again at some point in my life, you know? But I basically quit. So we were in Scottsdale last year, me and my fiance now. We weren't engaged at the time. And we used to party. Like, we didn't drink, like, all the time, but I went on vacation so much that we just drink with dinner. And then, like, I wasn't one that, like, paced myself. Like, I could handle my liquor, too. So I would drink, go out, have fun, go out and, like, I just love that shit. I still love the atmosphere. Like, I would go to a club
and be sober
and not drink and have great time just because it's the energy, you know? But I have so much more fun now. Like, so much more fun.
But it's so interesting, man, being in a club late at night sober and realizing just how fucked up you used to get.
I know, dude. I'll be like, I'm like, was I really that fucking dumb when I would, like, I talk to people and then I'm just like, holy shit, that used to be me. Like, you were fucking 27 years old, you're fucking killing it in every aspect of life. Like, why am I here? And I had this like click where I was just like, bro, I'm gonna do a 75 hard. Look at this shit. Anyways, but I was like, I'm gonna do a 75 hard, right? So I decided to do that, and at the end of the 75 hard, I realized like I had no desire to drink anymore.
Wow, I feel amazing.
And I was like, I just had no desire, and I kept thinking like, okay, well, I'll just play it by ear. And then I didn't want to drink, and I was talking to my fiance, and we were like, neither of us want to drink. And we get along so good. Like, she's like the best woman ever, dude. Like, that's why I engaged to her, or got engaged with her. But like, we never argue except when we were drunk. We'd bicker and shit.
Yeah.
And it was like, we realized that like, what is this doing for us? So we just said, fuck that shit. And you know, when like we're planning an Italy trip, I'm sure when we go to Italy, we'll probably drink some wine or something because it's fucking Italy. And when we get married, we might drink. But then again, as I say that right now, I'm like,
but you might not.
I might not. I don't think if I was there right now, like if I just switched a button and we were in a yacht in Italy, I wouldn't be drinking. So like, I don't know.
Dude, it honestly kind of fucks everything up. Like,
Yeah.
it fucks up a day. Like once you start drinking, it's like if you stop, the rest of your day is fucked up.
And the
You're all
next day's fucked
tired,
too.
and, like, the next day's fucked up. And bro, like what people don't understand is like the real benefits of not drinking are cumulative. Like you have to go like 30, 60, 90 days to really start to be like, you get clearer and clearer. It's like this cumulative effect. And I think people like underestimate actually how effective they could be if they weren't wasting themselves all the time. And by the way, I actually drink sometimes.
Yeah.
But there have been extended periods of my life where I don't consider a drop of alcohol, and those have unequivocally been the most productive parts of my life.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anything compounds. Anything, whether it's silent or very obvious, all the small little identity changes you make, like, oh, I'm the kind of person who doesn't drink. Well, now you're probably going to be the person that gets up early. You're probably going to be the person that goes to the gym and works and just stays in a good state of mind, and it becomes like who you are, you know?
And it's not only that, it's like people don't understand how much it affects your ability to tolerate stress, right? So the life that most people want is on the other side of having to deal with a pretty insane amount of stress and pressure. And dude, if you're hungover, like it's not, you can't do it, bro.
Anxiety. Now, that's actually a really good point. I've never thought of it like that, but that's so true because
Like, bro, if you're hungover
Yeah.
and all of a sudden a payment processor freezes 50 grand, if you're hungover and all of a sudden somebody tries to drag you into some bullshit lawsuit that you have to go pay legal fees and deal with, if you're hungry, like anything that comes with being a business person in general, like it's 100 fucking X harder to deal with. So I just like, bro, for me, like unless I'm literally in a spot where it's like, dude, I have nothing important to do, I'm not trying to like,
yeah.
let me go grab my sunglasses. I'm not trying to do all that bullshit.
Yeah, not like vacation. That's a good point, though. That's actually a good take.
Yeah.
So true, man. Yeah, man. The sun is fucking shining. We got cigars. We got good homies, good conversation. Man, it's cool, too, because, like, when I used to come down here when I was way younger, I was just like, I'm like, what the fuck do we even talk about? Because now all of my friends were all, like, trading, running businesses, building brands. And it's just, like, you learn so much. Because, like, back when I'm in Tennessee, I'm locked in. Like, all the time, I'm just work, which is great, and there's no distractions. However, I do think that it's beneficial to balance. You know, I think a lot of people come down here and they don't balance. They go all the way to the other end. But I think it's important to put yourself around other people that are also on a mission. Also, and really important, guys, one thing that I can tell you is you need to find out how to get around people that are at a higher level than you, even if it means working for free. Like finding somebody that you can just do some kind of, maybe if it's not for free, for cheap or something. Because at the end of the day, whenever you're at square one, the thing you need to be focusing on is more so gaining knowledge and connections than trying to just like, you know, come up out of nothing. And even if it's trading, like even if you're trading and it doesn't necessarily rely on other people, if you're around a lot of traders who take it serious and people that are at a high level, you start to raise your standards. What you once thought was crazy is now not crazy. Now it's like, oh, you're crazy for not being at that level. So like when your perspective elevates like that, you get around the right people, you naturally just start rising. It's like your standards, right? Like you get whatever you will accept in life, 100%. And there's always this fear of taking that jump into it, like raising the standards of who you keep around you, raising the standards of who's on your team if you have a company, raising the standards of what you accept for yourself, where you'll allow yourself to be like happy with yourself, honestly. And when you do that, that's where you really end up at. It's not goals. Like people set goals, and you should. You're usually gonna shoot for your goal and fall somewhere closer to your standards. You'll get to the goal eventually, but if you just set some kind of unrealistic goal, and don't really ask yourself, like, what is the level that I have to hold myself to get there and focus more on that in the process than the outcome, you'll never get there anyways, you know?
What would you tell a kid that wants to start day trading? He's day one into it. What are you telling him?
If there was a kid that was day trading on day one, what I would tell him is, number one, you have to accept that you're probably not going to make money for a little while, and you need to focus on mastering the process rather than seeing all the flashy stuff and just going after that. Because I always like to think about things like, what's your North Star? Like, what are you working backwards from? And if you set a goal of making a lot of money in a short amount of time, everything that happens that challenges that, which will be like everything at first, stresses you out. And when you're stressed, you're stupid. I always like to say stress makes you stupid. But if you focus on just building the process and becoming the kind of person that actually could win at trading, you accept that you're going to fail and that you're not there yet, and you have this peace of mind knowing that, you know, you're just picking, what do I do every day? That's what you can control. You can't control whether or not you're successful immediately. But whenever you do that, you start to be at a different energy. You're not stressed out about why it isn't working fast enough, why you're not rich yet, and stop comparing yourself to something that's unrealistic, and then you'll actually get that thing. Really just surround yourself with the right people outside of trading too. Start working on yourself, because a lot of people want to trade. Man, I see it on something like in comments and people on YouTube, they're negative. You're not gonna make it in a business where most people fail if you're just a negative person. There's no way. So another big thing too is like eliminating all of the negative energy you see in the trading industry from people always saying like, oh, prop firms are scams, or this guy's a scammer, or oh, why does he do education if he, it's just all this stuff like, that's not gonna help you. Like usually those are people that are just saying that from a state of being angry that they don't have whatever that person has. But I'd say like eliminate all that, eliminate the idea of making money overnight, and things will happen a lot faster. Another big piece of advice to all these young guys out there is to spend more money. Now, a lot of people are gonna come at me for this, but whenever you start spending more money, whenever you're the one that like picks up the tab, you take care of your friends, you give your family some money, you're not afraid to enjoy yourself, just watch what happens in your life. You will literally start attracting more money into your life, because at the end of the day, it's all an energy game. I don't care what anybody says. And if you're like penny pinching and cutting costs, you're basically putting out there to the universe that you're not worth it, that you don't have enough. And it's not like you're just gonna have this money fall in your lap before you're in the right state of mind. So go out there, spend more money, enjoy your life, and watch everything rise with that. All right, so we're all hungry. The yacht charter isn't up, but we said, fuck it, we're going home anyways, because why not? And we're about to go back, probably try to find another place to have a big dinner. We'll see what we can do. It's like Saturday at like 5 o'clock, but hey, where there's a will, there's a way. So we're gonna wrap it up. We got the captain going back to the dock, and yeah, then we're gonna get into the night shenanigans.
Young got no one, they been calling me splurge. Find me jump right on the curb. Make the spread fly like a bird. Spin on the first and the third.
All right, we're over here at my boy Jeremy's penthouse, and I want to go into how he was able to get. How much was it? What was the payout?
Let's see the exact numbers so I don't fluff you guys, okay? This is my 1099 from Apex for the year of 2024, which is when I got all my payouts. It was $1,088,500. You want to show them? Hit 'em. This is the 1099. This is just the payout number, and then over here, it's got my social security in the middle of it, okay? Otherwise, I would just show you the full thing. That's my old address. We had the farm mansion at the time, which, by the way, I will say helped a lot with trading, dude. Being locked, dude, I was locked out in this 12,000 square foot mansion, bro, and it was isolated in the west part of Miami. And you know, I would come into town, like I'd like go to basketball games and like would use the city and stuff, like hang out with friends. But dude, being out there was really helpful because that was when I was starting to learn trading. So I was out there for about 3 years, and technically 1.5 of those years was when I was learning trading and like doing trading. And that's when and where I got all my payouts, besides 1 month of being here. And by the way, it's a real penthouse, not one of those Miami boy apartments. That's a penthouse. Get some B-roll of the balcony peppered in here into this part of the video, okay? 2,500 square foot balcony.
Yeah. The balcony is bigger than half the fucking little Wonderlands people got up here.
Dude, it's funny. It's like a funny stereotype down here where people they say they have a penthouse and then it's like in reality, it's like, I mean, to be fair, like some of them are at the top of buildings, you know, and some of them do have PHs in front of them, even though they're pretty much apartments. But yeah, anyway, long story short, we're not doing that. I traded between April 17th, 2023 was my start date, until October of 2024. So that was the time frame that I'd made that $1,088,500. And I fucking vaporized part of that 500 in the live account because I didn't adjust my risk parameters to live. That's what I love about props, dude. Props are so much better than live accounts with like the risk to reward ratio. Because what I would do on the 150s, I would trade 5 contracts at a time across the 20 of them. So that, long story short, is 100 contracts across like all 20 of the accounts at a time. But it feels like a diffused risk because, you know, you're only technically trading 5 contracts per trade per account. It's just an unfucking deniable risk to reward ratio for how good it is. You can invest, like I do, that was a 10x return, you know, like you invest 86 G's and you make $1 million, you know, that was pretty good to me. I mean, long story short, like I don't like any of the other props. I'm not a big fan of the other ones because they just don't let you have the 20 accounts. And I loved Apex too because they're the biggest. I'm not even an Apex affiliate, dude. It's just like math. It's like you don't trade a prop when you're getting payouts from other people failing on a small prop. It's like none of them are paying you real money from you making real trades. So it's like you got to understand the game. It's like essentially a legal Ponzi scheme is essentially what these props are. And you know, to be fair, that might sound a little ridiculous to describe it like that, but truly that's what it is. They're regulated. I would never use one that's not in the United States. I'd always use one in the US, and then because there's ramifications if you fuck up and you're a US based business.
Oh yeah.
They just kicked me off because I was too profitable. Like you can't do a 10-to-1 and then not get moved live.
So like with the liquidity strategy, try to explain it. Like I know we don't have a chart or anything obviously, but like you're basically, I remember you telling me you would wait till it hit a level and you'd see if it was gonna break through and go to the next level.
It really all came down to this. If there was a key level that I marked, and again, just like in terms of a chart, just to like, you know, draw with my fingers, I guess. It's like, if let's say there was a day where the chart bottomed out here and then, you know, it starts to climb back up and then it bottoms out like around here, I would mark both of those levels, okay? And let's use the example like a couple days later or a couple weeks later or even like a couple hours later, the chart on the 1 hour comes back down and starts to revisit that first area, okay? I would wait until it goes through it a little bit, wait to either have one of two things. I would wait for a retest and for it to fail. That would be my best entry, dude. Because if it retested and failed, I would bet that between that level and that next level, it was going to go down to that next level and hit that area of liquidity. So when it would fail the retest, I would go in short. And I would try to always capture, keep in mind I was doing 5 contracts. My only goal every day, 5 contracts per account, and I wanted to capture 20 points, okay? 2K a day, that was my main goal. And 2K a day, again, times 19 accounts put me in a great spot. And you know, keep in mind, like with the way Apex worked, that allowed me to pull max payouts while also accumulating to eventually get to that 4th month and get a fucking massive payout.
Right.
Dude, it was the highest probability setup ever, you know? And anyway, if I could trade with Apex again and do the fucking 20 account shit, I'd still be doing it right now. I know it kind of sounds a little ridiculous to say, but I don't trade live accounts because it just doesn't make me enough money to like justify the emotional significance of what trading does to me, you know?
I mean, and I think that like one of the things you said too, that you came in with the frame of having a really high standard. I think that, and just in general from like your, you know, your background and stuff, but I think a lot of people try to come into trading and they think way too small.
And then final thing, I don't teach in any way, shape or form. This is the first trading interview I've ever done. And this is honestly probably the last time I'll ever talk about it. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm never going to sell you a course on trading. Jesse's been a long-time Inner Circle member with me. That's why I sat down and I did this conversation with him because I actively endorse everything that he does. He teaches the exact strategies that I was doing. He has different names for them and like labels them a specific way. He's an educator in this, and I full-heartedly trust Jesse with everything that he does and everything that he teaches. Don't hit me up talking about trading. Don't hit me up asking questions about this shit. I'm going to ignore it and not talk to you about it because, again, I have zero anything that I'm going to sell you or zero financial upside. If you made a fuckload of money trading and you want to talk to me about that, I'm happy to network with you. But seriously, like if you're just in the game, like please don't hit me up, you know, go through Jesse and like learn everything from there. But yeah, anyway, that's it. I got to go do my weekly Inner Circle group call now. Thank you very much for having me. And hey, listen, trading's fucking sweet.
Yeah, man.
Make a bunch of money and, you know, put your balls on the table. Have some fun.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, so we just got done with Jeremy up at the penthouse, and there's a couple things that I want to point out about that interview. Notice how he's not like taking tiny risks on these evals. Notice how he's not trading a complicated strategy. Notice how it didn't take him years and years to become profitable. And the reason for that is because the way he thinks. Dude was already rich, dude was already successful, and that's because of who he is and how he thinks, and that applies to everything you do. Like how you do anything is how you do everything.
All right, so we went back to the crib, got changed, and now we're headed down to Dirty French Steakhouse. This spot is super fire in Miami. It's down at Brickell, so we're gonna hit that up, and then maybe if we have it in us, go out for some cigars or something after. Probably will because, you know, why not?
be anything you want. Just keep going. Don't stop here, nigga.
All right, so we just got back from the cigar lounge, and I am tired as absolute fuck, and I gotta get some rest. So yeah, that was a week in the life, and it was fun. So comment and let me know if you like content like this. I want to start making more of this and really just pull back the curtains on my everyday life, because most of the stuff I post is just trading, and education. And I'm always gonna post a bunch of free value, don't worry. But I think it's, it's cool to share my life and have you guys get to know me. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.
Back when I was young, I had dreams of getting richer. Then my homie Breeze set me down, schooled me to the picture. I was with some wild niggas, put me on the game, told me if you trying to make your